Hello and welcome to Crantock Art in the southwest of England near Weston-super-Mare. Today I got a nice little short make. We're going to have a go at making a little, what I call Peaky Blinder. Little man in a cap. A bit of a difference from your normal gnome, but just as much fun. So to start with, put him over there, you need a lump of clay. I've got 125 grams of clay here. Not a great amount because he's only little. Of course you could, I've been very precise about this, you don't need to be. You can as much or a little clay as you want. What I'm going to do with it, first of all, is I'm going to roll it into a ball. Then I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to turn this into two little cups using a pinch pot technique. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put the clay into my left hand and then get my right thumb, push it in till I can feel it but don't go right through. And then with my fingers on the outside of the clay there, and of my right hand, and my left hand holding it firmly, I go round and I stroke it up all the way around. So I'm not pinching it such, I'm coaxing it up all the way around. And I'm trying to get it the same thickness all the way. And once I've gone round once like that, now I start pinching. So I'm going round now, feeling for where it's thicker or thinner. Where it's thinner, don't put too much pressure, even it out to make a little cup. Do the same with the other half. Push it in. Again, stroke it up, so coax it up from the bottom to the top all the way around, then pinch it out again. This way it keeps your pinch pots compact. If you have problems with your pinch pots turning into plates, it's because you are pinching and not pulling. So pull it all up like that. And hopefully they will fit reasonably well together. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my knife. I'm going to score all around the top edge of that one and score all the way around the top edge of that one. Then we get some slip. So this is just our clay. This is stoneware clay we're using here, which is a fired clay. Of course, you can do this with anything. The thing about fired clay, though, is it can go outside. If you're using air dry clay, it can become wet again. So you don't want to use that outside, but it's fine for things for inside. So we then put these two together. As I say, it's not going to be perfect, as close as you can. Then we get some clay from here and we roll a little coil. Like that. Then put slip around, not too much, but enough just to moisten it a little bit, and we seal it up. So all the way around. If you find your coil's not long enough, don't panic. Just make another one. If it's too long, just trim it off. Get that off there. Okay. Then I'm going to smooth them in. So I get my good old lollipop stick, smooth them up onto one of the pots, and then down onto the other, all the way around. And this then will seal basically a bubble of air in there, which we can use to push against while we sculpt the next stage. That all the way around. That. Okay, don't worry about the fact it's a bit rough and ready at this point, because once you've got it sealed, as I say, we've now got that bubble of air to work against. So you can roll it around on the board a bit, start to smooth out some of those rougher bits. Okay. Use my fingers to smooth it if necessary. An old credit card or store card is also perfect for this. Find it's not getting smooth, rinse your fingers, dry them off, don't have them wet, but have them clean, and you'll find that smoothing becomes a lot easier. And having got it sort of round, I'm now going to finish the job with a bowl. So I've got this lovely wooden bowl, but it doesn't have to be wooden, it can be any type of bowl. Got a nice curve on it, that's the key thing. So we get it in the bowl and we roll it around. And as we roll it, it starts to smooth it. And it starts to get it into more of a ball shape. So I keep looking at it. Any bits that are not round, I put back in and apply just a little bit of pressure. Say, if it collapses when you do this, it means you've got a hole in it somewhere. So make sure you've got it well sealed. If you feel it collapsing, stop, find the hole, seal it, so you know where you are. Okay, a little round more. Now most of him is going to be covered up, so I'm not too worried if he's got one or two little scraggy bits. I should just make sure that the best bits the bits we see, so probably I'm going to go with that as the front of his head. Next thing to do then is, because I don't want him to roll around like a billiard ball, I put him on the surface and I bounce it so we get a little bit flatter on the bottom. Okay, that's my main head. Now I'm going to give him a moustache. So you could do this if you've got an extruder. You could do extruded clay. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just stick with using simple. You could try doing it with pushing clay through a sieve. I tried earlier. It was disastrous as far as I was concerned, but I maybe haven't got the knack. So what I'm going to do is, I want, like my fellow here, he's going to have a sort of a really big bushy moustache. So I'm going to take my piece of clay, sort of rectangular sort of shape. I'm going to split it into two like that. Then I'm going to scrape the back, put some slip on it, and smack it on his face. So about there. Okay. Give a really good wiggle, make sure it's on. Shape the ends round a bit, smooth it in. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to give him a nose. So I'm going to keep it simple. Again, I'm going to get a little ball of clay, roll it in. That's one hell of a nose. That's a bit too big. Let's get a little bit smaller. Again, there's no right or wrong for this. There's no templates for this particular make. It's entirely make it up as you go along. So there you go. That'll do. I quite like the fact it's got cracks on it. It looks like he's been drinking too much and he's got his veins popping through his nose. But let's smooth that down a bit. Put a bit of, again, a bit of slip on it. Put it at the top of the moustache like that. And then twist it. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Until it stops moving. If it's taking a while to stop moving, don't give up. Keep going. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of wiggle. Eventually it will set. And once you've done that and it's stopped moving, that's on and it's not coming off now. So next we need his hat. So what I've done is I've taken a cutter. This one, as a matter of fact, I think. Is that the one? Yeah. You want something that looks quite big. He's got to have quite a big floppy hat. So allow, for whatever size piece you've got, you want a circle that's probably going to be about half an inch, maybe slightly less than half an inch each. No, definitely less than half an inch. Quarter of an inch each side, which is about 5 millimeters rather, each side. So it's got enough to flop on. Then what I've done is I've rolled it out. And then I've rolled some cloth into it to give it this lovely sort of effect, like a cap. So you could experiment with different cloths. This one is a sort of net rather than anything else, which gives that sort of a lovely effect. But it could be anything. You try roll it in, experiment with it. So you cut a whole piece, and then you cut a moon piece like this. So this is going to make the cap's peak. What we then do is you turn it over. I haven't rolled this very evenly. You can see it's quite thick there and a bit thinner there. So I'm going to use the thinner end, is going to be the front of the cap. So what I then do is I'm going to put some slip around the edge there. And then I'm going to just very lightly score there. And that's going to go on like that. So that it very slightly, but not too much, overhangs it like that. Okay. Having done that, making sure it's on, and then smooth that into the cap. Make sure you can see that. There we go. All the way around like that. Yeah. Then I've got to put it on. Now it's always a good idea to make sure that there's no risk of getting air trapped under the cap, between the cap and the head. So one way to do that is, before you put the cap on, is to just make an air hole in the top of his head. Just put your knife in, give it a spin round, make sure it's hollow. Then I'm going to coat this with slip. Nice and gooey, and position it so that the peak is over his nose, and then we fold it in and make it fit his head. Squish it in all right, like that. And bring it down over his nose a bit. That's why we can't see his eyes, is because his cap's over them, like that. Okay. Right, next thing to do is I'm just going to do his beard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my lollipop stick, and I'm just going to sort of make some grooves in it. Nice wiggly ones. All the way around. So I'm just make it like a nice rough beard. Well, beard, sorry, moustache. It's not his beard. Okay. Again, I'm getting such a big beard that it's covered up where his mouth was, which again saves me having to do a mouth. So it saves me having to do eyes and mouth if I can do something that would cover, whoops, too far, so it would cover up where they'd be. I'm also going to use the back of my knife. So I started the process off, and now I'm going to use the back of my knife just to make some a little bit deeper. Cut into it a bit more. Just generally rough it up. Make a feature out of those. A bit deeper like that. He's got a nice rough moustache. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to add just a little in the top of his cap here. I'm going to add a little pointy bit here. I've never quite understood the reason for the button in the top, but somebody out there must know. Put a button on it like that, and again, give it a good wiggle. Make sure it's on nice and tight. And then lastly, as we don't want this fella to explode, get your knife, stick it in the bottom, give it a twist, make sure you've got an air hole. Okay, there you are. One little Peaky Blinder. Okay, so that's it for this week. Look forward to catching up with you again soon. Bye.